insurance company in the state of New York. Let's start with our action items if we can, and if I can get a motion for approval of our previous minutes.
So moved.
Second.
And a second. All right. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? There being none, motion passes. So our next item is the confirmation of the appointment of the directors by the Health and Hospitals Board. A, Dr. Mitchell Katz, Andrea Cohen, John Ulberg, Dr. Michelle Allen, Dr. Vincent Calamia. B is the appointment of Dr. Calamia as chairman of the board of directors. C is the election of officers of the company. One, Dr. Calamia as president. Two, Dr. Michelle Allen as reappointment as vice president. Andrea Cohen as reappointment as secretary. John Ulberg as reappointment as treasurer. Also reappointment of David Chung as the executive director for the company. Reappointment of Mary Boland as the claims director of the company. F is the authorization of the issuance of the primary professional liability insurance policies to members of HHC Physicians Purchasing Group. G would be the appointment of Joe Ellen Cockley of Aon Risk Consultants as an actuary of the company. H is the reappointment of Donna Wilson from Grant Thornton as the auditor of the company. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? There being none, our motion carries. Next is the item for the approval of the issuance of the primary insurance policies to the members of HHC Physicians Purchasing Group, Inc., or PPG, in the amount of $1.3 million per occurrence, $3.9 million in aggregate, this effective January 1, 2006 through December 31st, 2022. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved.
Second? Any?
Second.
Excellent. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? All right, there being none, the motion carries. Next item is the motion for authorization of the loan back of the premium in the amount up to $3 million to the parent corporation, New York City Health and Hospitals. May I have a motion, please?
So
So
moved.
moved.
A
Second.
second.
Yes.
All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? There being none, motion carries. Our next item is the motion for the acceptance of the audited financial statements as of December 31, 2020. May I have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Second.
Excellent. And all in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? All right, there being none, the motion does carry. Next motion is the acceptance of the business continuity plan for the company. Again, may I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
All right, I think I heard a second in there as well.
Yep.
All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, please say no. There being none, motion carries. And our final motion is the approval of our disaster response plan for the company. Again, may I have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
And a second, thank you. All in favor, please say yes.
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 And any opposed, please say no. There being none, the motion does carry. All right, so we've gotten through our lengthy approvals program. Let's move on now to our informational items. If we can do that, I think Nancy Gray is going to.
Yeah, Dan Scott was going to walk us through those.
Yeah, I'll take us through this quickly. The first informational item, new applications for coverage have been received from 13 OBGYN and neurosurgeons as of 9/30. There are 291 active positions in the program. Primary policies for the current policy year have been issued by the company. Applications for excess coverage through MMIP were filed for 256 health and hospitals physicians beginning July 1 of 2020. Of the 256 excess applications filed, all doctors have been deemed eligible to receive the excess coverage through the pool. It was determined during the application process that 42 physicians already were covered by the pool for excess coverage through the other hospital carriers. There are 13 doctors that are awaiting excess coverage through the pool because final numbers have not been determined. Next informational item, number 2, the company is required to sign up as a plan or pool participant of the medical malpractice insurance pool in 2007. The company, like all other New York insurance companies providing medical malpractice coverage, opted to be a pool participant. The September 30, 2021 session statement from the pool indicates the company has a net equity in the pool of roughly 1.8 million. And on page 37 and 38, you can see pages of the MMIP detailing the equity position and their percentage participation. The next informational item is review the September 30 interim financial statements. Not sure who has control of the book, but if we could.
I'm gonna try, I'm trying if I can get, I can't.
It's on page
Page
30.
39?
Or actually 41, you can go to.
I can see the numbers at the bottom, okay?
Yeah, back up a couple, just page 41, right there.
41.
Perfect. So here's the balance sheet as of September 30th, 2021. I just wanted to point out total assets, about 96.7 million. It's up about 1.4 million from the prior year. And this relates solely to the premiums receivable, the first line item on the balance sheet. Just to explain what or a refresher of what we do, we, on the direct business, we estimate the premiums at the beginning of the year based on the prior year actuarial forecast for the most recent policy year. And then as we get to year end, the actuary does her analysis, and then we finalize the current year premiums in the fourth quarter each year. So that's what you're seeing there. The increase just relates to the estimate for the premium for the current year. And in the fourth quarter, that number will be rolled into the intercompany loan balance once it's finalized. In the liability section, total liability is about 11.6 million. It's up about 1.5 million. And if you look at the first two line items, the outstanding loss reserves and the incurred but not reported loss reserves, combined for the current year, it's about 9.3 million versus about 8.3 million for the prior year. So total reserves are up about $1 million. And that's really just the current year accrual. We're accruing losses at 1.4 million. And so it's 3/4 of the way through the year. And the other items that change, the unearned premium reserve, that's up about 340,000 from prior year end. And that will approximate, that will be much more comparable at year end, because right now there's about 350,000 relating to the current year policy, which will be zero by year end. The intercompany payable is up about 200,000 from the prior year. That's all the bills that are the operating expenses as they're paid. They just increase the intercompany payable balance. So that's what that represents. In the total net assets, about 85 million. They're down about 64,000 from the prior year, and that just relates to the current year net loss from operations. I don't know if there's any questions. If not, I'll move to the income statement. Okay.
One more question.
So if you could just flip 2 pages, please, Mary, to page 43.
Okay, that's it? Yeah.
Okay. So gross written premium, 1.4 million, or so 1,438,000. 1.4 million of this relates to the direct business, and then there's a small portion, 38,000 roughly, due from relating to the MMIP business. And of that, we've earned 3/4 of the written premium through 9/30 for the direct business. So earned premium is about just shy of 1.1 million. And that's down a couple $100,000 from the prior year. The direct premiums had been estimated at 1.7 million as of the same time last year. So that's what that change is relating to. Interest income about 80,000, relatively comparable to the prior year. This is all relating to the MMIP business. And in the expense section, loss and loss adjustment expenses incurred about 1.1 million. This is down about 150,000 from the prior year. This relates to the direct business. Again, the estimates for the current year versus prior year were lowered from 1.7 to 1.4 million. So that's what this change relates to. G&A expenses, 161,000, up about 45,000. Aon got a pay increase, so that 28,000 related to our increase in fees. There was a state exam that took place as well, so that accounted for 13,000 of the increase. Total change in unrestricted net assets of about negative 65,000. So the company, the expenses exceeded the income by about 65,000 from here. That was all I had to say on the income statement, unless anyone had any questions.
Any questions at all?
Right, that was all for the unaudited statements.
Comments?
So the next informational item, if you want to turn to page 47, please, Mary. Oh, back up one.
Too far?
Yeah, just one back. There we go. So this is just an underwriting schedule as of September 30th. So it just shows that inception to date premiums written of about 113.5 million versus the earned 113.2 million. Shows losses paid of 13.8 million, case reserves 2.1 million, IBNR of about 5.8 million. So total losses incurred 21.7. So we've had a net underwriting gain of about 91.4 million since inception. So captive operations have done very well. Then the next three columns just show the first one is the claims that have been closed with payment, and since inception there's been 41 claims closed with payment. There's been 508 claims closed without payment, and there's 87 open files currently. That was all I wanted to point out here, unless anyone had any questions. Okay. And then if you go to the next page, Mary, page 48, this just shows every year we have to write the state of New York to request permission for a few items. The first item, we received permission for a permitted practice to file on a statutory basis for governmental accounting standards. The next item, we requested and received a waiver of the requirement to have an actuarial analysis done on the MMIP reserves, because they already have their own MMIP that they hire, so we were able to rely on that. And then the last item, we received permission for permitted practice to carry the MMIP balances on a statutory basis of accounting. So there's the only 3 items there. If you go to the next page, page 49, this is just the compliance checklist. Just basically showing that the company is in compliance or in the process of being in compliance with all items. The only thing pending right now, under G, we'll have a section 206 assessment fee that's going to come due in December. We'll be on the lookout for that. And then in the corporate documentation section, at the conclusion of today, we'll take care of the requirement to have an annual meeting in New York each year. If you go to the next page, and then we approved the business continuity plan and the disaster response plan earlier in the meeting, so that's taken care of. Let's see, the only other item I wanted to point out is under the examination process. We were examined earlier in the year, as of December 31, 2019. Companies are required to be examined every 5 years. We have not received a draft exam report as of yet. I've followed up a few times, but so I would anticipate that we'll receive a draft relatively soon. But as far to my knowledge, there's been no issues raised by the examiner, so we expect a clean report, clean bill of health for the company. So that was really all I had to say here. I think that was the last informational item. The last item is just additional new business matters to be discussed at the discretion of the board. So.
Are there any new business matters? If not, meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, everybody, for all the hard work. Much appreciated.
Dr. Katz, don't sign off.
Don't
We
sign
have
off.
to
We
send
have
them.
we have
one
one
more
more.
I'm not
meeting.
signing off.
5 more
All right,
minutes.
let's move on then to our next meeting, which is the HHC Physician Purchasing Group. And again, thank you all for joining. This is our annual meeting for the Board of Directors for HHC Physician Purchasing Group. So let's call today's meeting to order. And again, if we could have our first item to be approved, which is the approval of the minutes from November 5, 2020. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
And our second. Thank you so much. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, say no. There being none, those minutes are now approved. So now we're on to our second item. That's the confirmation of the appointment of the following directors by the Health and Hospitals Board. They are Dr. Mitchell Katz, Andrea Cohen, John Olberg, Dr. Michelle Allen, Dr. Vincent Calamia. The appointment of Dr. Calamia as chairman of the board of directors, the election of the officers of the company, Dr. Calamia as president, Dr. Michelle Allen reappointed as vice president, Andrea Cohen reappointed as secretary, John Olberg reappointed as treasurer. Again, may I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
And second, I heard.
Second.
So please say yes for approval.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, and that therefore is our unanimous approval, and motion therefore does carry. And let's move on again to our information items. Daniel, Scott, are you doing those as well?
Yeah, I'll just read through these quickly.
Okay, super.
Yep. The first item, the purchasing group has been registered and approved by the New York Department of Insurance to act as a purchasing group within the state. The business of the group is to obtain, on behalf of its members who are employees of the healthcare system's affiliates, primary insurance for medical malpractice from HHC Insurance, a captive insurance company. The second informational item, the physician members of the group have obtained primary medical malpractice insurance coverage in the amount of $1.3 million per occurrence, $3.9 million in the aggregate from the captive insurer for 2021. Insurance policies have been issued for the members of the group by the captive. The members of the group have also received excess coverage in the amount of $1 million per occurrence and $3 million in the aggregate from the MMIP. So that's it.
So,
Okay, any questions? comments? New business? There being none, our meeting is adjourned. Thanks,
We're
everybody, for
good.
being here and for your attention.
We did it.
Thanks.
I'd like to thank
Great
Ben
job.
Scott. It's his last meeting with us, and he's been doing this with us for many, many years now. We appreciate all the great work, and we're gonna miss you, Dan.
Thank you. I'll miss all of you as well, Mary.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Been a
thank you,
pleasure
Dan,
working
for all
with
the
you for
great
years.
work. We really appreciate it.
Thanks. You're very welcome.
And we met the challenge.
Thank you. You certainly did. All right, thank you all again. Take care.